I used to believe marriage was like running a successful company. If the bills were paid, meals on time, house clean, and intimacy scheduled, then love would blossom like flowers after the rain. At least, that was the theory I had convinced myself of. Our second year of marriage began with spreadsheets. Literally, I had a laminated weekly planner stuck on the fridge with color-coded tabs for chores, budget reviews, prayer times, and even date nights. Tuesday and Saturday nights, reserved strictly for intimacy. Sundays, reserved for rest and spiritual reflection. Chinedu would often smile, that half-laugh, half-confused kind of smile. "Madam Spreadsheet," he'd say, his arms wrapping around me from behind while I stirred soup. "Can we cancel this week and just dance instead?" But I never took him seriously. "Baby, if we cancel this week, next week go scatter," I'd reply, chuckling. He'd kiss my cheek, shake his head, and walk away humming an old-school love song. I thought he appreciated my structure. I thought he saw my careful planning as love in action. Until one quiet Saturday. I had just finished cleaning, ready to check off rest and tea from my planner. I stepped out, expecting to find Chinedu in his usual Saturday spot, front of the TV, watching Arsenal highlights with loud commentary in the background. But the house was dead silent. No TV, no music, no scent of suya or laughter. I called out, "Chinedu?" Nothing. I checked the bedroom. Empty. Kitchen? Empty. Toilets? No slippers. By 10 a.m., I couldn't take it anymore. I called. "Babe, where are you?" I asked. "I'm at the beach with the guys from work," he said. I blinked. "Without telling me?" He paused briefly. "I didn't want to interrupt your schedule." That line hit me like a bucket of cold water to the face. I stood there, holding my phone, hearing the waves in the background. He wasn't angry. He wasn't annoyed. He had just adapted. I sat on the edge of our bed, staring at the laminated planner on the fridge through the bedroom door. And suddenly, it looked more like a cage than a system. The following week, I started noticing things I had been too blind to see. Chinedu no longer stayed up waiting for me to finish my skincare routine. He didn't try to gist while I washed my face anymore. He didn't suggest watching movies or even bother to change the station when I walked in. We were together, but the temperature of our love had dropped to Harmattan levels. Then one night, I heard him laugh, like a full-chest, deep-throated laugh that echoed down the hallway. I paused. It had been a while since I heard that sound. Curious, I walked over to the living room. "Who's that?" I asked. "Oh, Ngozi from HR. She sends these mad voice notes. This one na about Nepa Wahala," he said, chuckling. I smiled. "Ngozi, eh?" "Yeah, she's hilarious. Helps me get through work." I nodded and turned back slowly, but inside, something shifted. That night, I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling fan, the air suddenly too cold for comfort. I realized I had built an efficient system, yes, but at the cost of emotional intimacy. I hadn't lost my husband to a woman. I had lost him to the silence my structure created, and somehow, Ngozi was now making him laugh more than I did. It was a Wednesday night when I finally stood in front of the mirror, not to do my 10-step skincare routine, but to stare, really stare. My reflection didn't look stressed or sad. I looked polished, accomplished, responsible, everything the world says a good wife should be. But my eyes were tired. Not the kind sleep fixes, the kind that comes from being emotionally starved. I tried to remember the last time Chinedu had kissed me with intention, not obligation. When last did we dance to Asa or laugh at something silly like the neighbors fighting cats. When last did I feel like his babe and not his business partner? The mirror didn't lie. I had become a project manager in a marriage meant for passion, and I hated that realization. I went back to our wedding album and flipped through the pages. There we were, laughing with puff in our mouths, chasing each other around plastic chairs at the reception. No planner, no schedules, just joy, raw joy. Tears gathered at the corners of my eyes. Somewhere between laundry loads and budget reviews, I had stopped being present. I had measured love in tasks, not touch. And now someone else, a voice note, a joke, was reminding my husband how it felt to be seen. I knew what I had to do, but I also knew it couldn't be loud. It had to start small, with a whisper, with presence, with intention. Saturday came. This time, I didn't touch the planner. I didn't write a to-do list. Instead, I opened his drawer and found it, the faded oversized t-shirt with the words "Mr. Steal Your Rice" printed on the back. He always said I looked like his fine babe when I wore it. I put it on, tied my hair up in a scarf he once said reminded him of our first date, and made breakfast. Not the structured, nutrient-balanced type. No, I made akara and pop, his favorite. He walked into the kitchen and froze. "You okay?" I smiled. "Not really, but I miss being your babe, not your manager." The smile that broke out on his face could have lit up the whole house. He walked to me slowly, pulled me into his chest, and held me for longer than I expected. "I've missed you too," he whispered. That morning, we ate on the balcony, barefoot. No phones, no schedule, just breeze, laughter, and the distant sound of a neighbor's generator struggling to come alive. Things didn't change overnight. I still liked order. He still liked randomness. But slowly, we found a rhythm between the two. I started saying yes more. Yes to random suya runs. Yes to evening walks without earbuds. Yes to dancing in the living room just because Kenny G was playing. And he started showing up more, tucking me in, playing chess with me on Sunday evenings, gisting with me in the kitchen again. We laughed more, we touched more, we remembered why we chose each other. I kept the planner, but I ripped off the intimacy schedule. Some nights, we simply sat in silence, legs touching, breathing the same air, and that was enough. Because I learned something real. You don't always lose your partner to another person. Sometimes you lose them to unchecked routine, to your obsession with doing it right, to the slow erosion of joy in the name of responsibility. Now, I lead with presence. I still run my home like a queen, but I've learned to let my king breathe. And this is what I now know. Love is not in the structure. It's in the softness. It's not in control. It's in connection. So while you're out there trying to get everything right, don't forget to keep the love alive.